Welcome back to Lorehammer. I'm your host, Mark, and joining me today are some dwarf boys to talk shit about this Eldar character, Eldrad Ulthran. Eldrad Ulthran? Who the fuck cares what his name? No, just kidding. Yeah, today we got Gerald. Hey, welcome.
Don't know why I'm here to talk about some stink and Elgi, but
yeah, it will be a very honest review of him, I'm sure. Sure of it.
Not biased at all.
Not biased. We also got Fuzz. Hey, beard still growing. I love it. Love to see it.
Yep. I as soon as you said that, I did not realize, it did not hit me that the three more dwarven simps in the podcast are totally honest review of the most important Eldar. All I'm saying is, look, if they were so strong, they would also be surviving in the Galactic Core, but they're not.
Yeah. They are an empire way past decline. They've fallen. So, we never did that as a dwarf civilization. So that's nice.
No, standing strong.
Standing strong. Well, no, we're going to give a nice little character series here. We're going to dive into a whole bunch of Xenos in the upcoming episodes. We've been doing a lot of Primarchs and Space Marine stuff, which is incredibly abnormal for me. I need a nice little palate cleanser. So we're going to get into some Xenos. We got like a list on the Discord if you want to check out the next 5 episodes or whatever. There's some hitters like Trazan we're going to talk about. I know Gerald, you're excited for him.
You should have seen Y'all should have seen my reaction in the Discord the second I saw that list pop up.
Yeah, exactly. And then I didn't know Fuzz was gay, but he was excited for the Tau episode, so that's nice.
How did you not know that already?
I'm just making jokes. I didn't know about the gay part.
Well,
no, we got some fun ones.
Yeah, Anval should be interesting. Yeah, definitely a very I feel like polarizing character in Tau, with everything that he's done.
Yeah, interesting guy. So we're gonna dive into a bunch of different characters. We're gonna start with Eldrad Ulthran, the Farseer of Ulthwé. Pretty cool character, actually. I feel like if I was to sum him up before we get into it, he's a character that can appear anywhere at any time over 10,000 years and can be up to anything, and you won't know, or you might. And he kind of is just out there running amok, trying to twist fate and just change what's happening for his race. It's pretty cool.
Sounds like he's the galaxy's greatest plot device.
Yeah, honestly, because you can fit him in anywhere, and you're like, he is there. Okay, no, it's not a stretch. You're telling me he needs to pick up some sacred rock from this planet? I'm in. Yeah, he needs it. Okay.
His real superpower is showing up at the end of major Space Marine or Primarch books.
Yeah. Rubbing his
that has happened frequently.
Saying just as fan. Yeah. Fate's a fun thing in 40k with the warp. There's definitely some time shenanigans and stuff that can happen, and the warp can lie to you itself and show you false futures and all that kind of fun stuff. So even though he's kind of this prophet and everything and can see the future, he often doesn't get things right, I feel like. But how can you? Or maybe not get things right, but not get things exactly how he pictured them. There's always that twist of fate, that butterfly effect of 1,000 years later, what planets got destroyed because of this. So gonna be a fun episode. Before we get into it, if you want to buy any Lorehammer merchandise, t-shirts, banners, I don't know, you can go to Redbubble. We sell some stuff. You want a coffee mug? Go there. Redbubble. You can search up Lorehammer on there. There's links in the description below. Pretty easy. Go check it out.
And to our dear listeners on Spotify, if you haven't joined already, Mark wants you to join the Imperial Tide. For as little as $2.50 per month, you can get ad-free versions on Spotify, because that's always a nice perk. And then for $5, you can get access to the live stream, where you can see me, Mark, and Fuzz do all kinds of dwarf simping related things, making fun of Eldar. So what's not to love there?
Exactly. And if you do pay that $5 and join the live stream, not only do you get to see us, hear us in real time, but there's a live chat going on. We'll reference people's comments, answer your questions in the chat. Sometimes we'll be bringing up pictures in the live stream that we'll talk about, and that can get lost a little bit if you only hear it, but now you can see it. As well as with the time and people are interested, if you've got something to say, let us know, and we can do call-in guests as well.
Yeah, always love it. All right, well, let's get into this episode today. Yeah, we're covering the greatest Eldar of them all, so they say. Farseer, Eldrad Ulthran, and we're going to cover his what it is to be a Farseer, what Craftworld he's from. We'll dip our toes into that. We won't cover the whole thing, but give you a nice little flavor. Then we'll get into his history. And like I said, he's kind of popped up over 10,000 years, just all over the place, doing all types of things. He kind of acts like Abaddon's 13 Black Crusades, where it's like, you don't know what he did until the 13th, and up until then, just kind of looked like he was an armless fool. So he runs around, does a whole bunch of stuff. We'll talk about all the things. We'll talk about his kind of end state currently, or his, maybe not end state is how to say it, but what's happening to him currently being a Farseer and crystallization. It's pretty interesting. And his appearance, personality, his abilities. We'll get into a little bit of Eldar rune magic. And then this guy is like the high school kind of like organizational, like he's on every board. He's like, I'm going to be on the school student board. I'm going to be on the spelling chess board. He's just on every team because he's on all these organizations from the Black Council to the Ghost Wind. He was on the Ynnari for a little bit, a whole bunch of them. So we'll get into all these different organizations. He goes to the Black Library and he helps them out, and he's on that kind of, I think that's the Black Council one. But yeah, and then we'll get into some of his war gear and touch on his death. And we'll leave that there.
So you're saying he's the overachieving valedictorian of the Eldar?
I think so, yeah. Like he's always just getting involved. He's getting into all these little clubs, starting all these organizations, like School Spirit, Eldar, let's go.
Yeah, or maybe we'll see if he's more like a micromanager. He can't trust anybody else to do the job. He just has to be there to do it himself.
Yeah, maybe that's
We'll
more.
see.
Yes. That does seem more elvish.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They just can't leave well enough alone. Jerks.
Yeah. Yep. Just let us dwarves mind our own business for once. Jeez. Gosh. Okay. Well, how about we just dive right in to this totally honest, not biased at all character review. Eldrad Ulthran, whose name means First of Ulthwé, is the greatest and most ancient Farseer of the Craftworld Ulthwé. Among the oldest living Eldari in the galaxy, he has walked the skeins of fate for more than 10,000 Terran years. Since the fall, no seer has matched the precision of his foresight nor carried so heavy a burden. Countless lives have endured because he alone perceived the paths that others could neither see nor comprehend. To Eldrad, destiny is never a fixed road but an endless web of sacrifice. Entire worlds, armies, and even allies have been abandoned if their loss secured the survival of his people. I got words about that. He sought to warn the Imperium of Horus's betrayal before the Horus Heresy began, yet his visions were ignored. He orchestrated the Second War for Armageddon to preserve 10,000 Asuryani souls, while also setting in motion the Sanapan Scouring, the Mortis Annihilation, and a third coming of Orion. Each decision was ruthless, measured, and made with the cold certainty that the future demanded a price. His visions also spared Craftworld Ynnead by forewarning it of High Fleet Kraken, while during the Battle of Port Demesnes, he helped awaken Ynnead, the Aeldari god of the dead. That single act echoed across the galaxy, leading to the Night of Revelations within Kamara and the birth of the Ynnari, whom Eldrad believes represent the last hope of the salvation from Slaanesh. Though revered as a legendary hero, he bears no illusions of victory, only the duty to delay extinction for one more generation. Wielding the ancient Staff of Ulthamar, sounds a little sus there,
Yeah.
Eldrad has shattered titans, boiled the blood of demons, and slain kings beyond counting. Yet his greatest weapon has never been his power, but the lonely wisdom to choose the future others would condemn, so that the Aeldari might endure a little longer.
I do like the idea. Yeah, I as much as like, you know, we're going to shit on the Eldar because it's fun. I do like the idea that for him to see these visions come true, like the the visions have a price. I like that idea that there's going to be some kind of sacrifice for you to get the future that you want. And that's never just going to be like he sees the future and it's good and it works. No,
It's clean,
you want this good future, then something is going to have to suffer for it.
Yeah, and he's very Eldar supremacy about it, and normally he'll get away with just sacrificing, half a dozen Imperium planets to get this better outcome. But it doesn't always work that way either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure his decisions are what led to the very, very pervasive meme of sacrifice 1 million Imperial citizens to save one Eldar. Sacrifice 1 Imperial citizens to kill 1 Eldar.
Yeah, that's a fun equation. I've seen that one. Yeah, I think his greatest accomplishment, though, in his 10,000 years, is definitely pretty recent in lore and in their universe or whatever, and that is kind of the summoning of Ynnari and all that, which we'll get into. Pretty galaxy changing, really. Definitely changes how the Eldar operate, and I feel like we don't really hear enough about it. And then I've also heard whispering that they've kind of done away with Ynnari as well.
I have too recently, because I was just on a whim. I was curious if there was anything being done more with Ynnead and the Ynnari and everything. And yeah, I had kind of seen the same thing, that almost because the whole Yvrain and Gilliman meme of them being together, and Games Workshop just was tired of the joke, that they just kind of have shelved that whole plot line for now, which does have a lot of cool potential, I think, for expanding in the universe and moving the plot along a little bit. But yeah.
Well, it sounds like too it's only being shelved, it's not removed. They're still out there doing their thing. And even as we'll get to, I'll spoil it now here real quick, Eldrad does kind of leave the Ynnari faction, so maybe even that's how they're kind of drifting away from even having to try to tell stories about them, a couple characters. But the fact that he left means that it is still there.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. I've got it on word from a couple of very enthusiastic Eldar fans too, that there was a planned trilogy of books, or maybe a series of 4 or 5 books centered around the Ynnari faction, but the first one sold horribly or got horrible reviews. So GW's quietly just kind of okay, we're shying away from this for now.
Man. They're they don't crush it in the book meta, so no one's buying them. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, I guess whatever. Anyway, so among the Asuryani, though, none bear a heavier burden than the Farseers. They are prophets who have surrendered themselves to the endless skein of fate, sacrificing their own future to preserve those of their people. While others see only the present, a Farseer perceives countless possible destinies, searching for the single path that delays the extinction of the Aeldari. Every Farseer began as a warlock before becoming forever lost upon the path of the seer. Like the exarchs bound to the path of the warrior, they can never return to ordinary life. Instead, they devote every remaining year to deciphering visions, making endless calculations, and guiding their craft world through futures that only they can perceive. Much of their existence is spent in silent communion with the living wraithbone of the craft world, their spirits wandering unseen as they measure centuries yet to come. Every political decision, military campaign, and alliance is shaped by their prophecies. Wars are often won before they begin through subtle acts of manipulation, a whispered thought, a diverted enemy, or the quiet sacrifice of one world to preserve another. To outsiders, these actions appear ruthless, yet every choice is weighed against countless dark futures. Though rarely seen upon the battlefield, a Farseer possesses immense psychic power, capable of crushing minds and reshaping the course of war. Yet their greatest strength has never been raw might, but the lonely resolve to choose the least terrible future, ensuring the Eldari endure for one more generation. I will say I feel like maybe a day-to-day person might see the Farseers as ruthless, sacrificing one world to save another. But literally, I feel like every other empire in 40K does that. The Tau will abandon a world, they'll evacuate a world and leave it, for whatever to save another one. the Imperium will literally glass a planet to
Cryptman's just slowly going into the bush right now.
Yeah. Like, I feel like the orcs probably wouldn't, but that's just because they don't know how to do that. Them sacrificing a planet is just staying on the planet to fight. I don't know. They
don't care about sacrificing boys because that just means there's more boys for them to fight. So.
Right. But yeah, the Farseers are really interesting. I haven't read a ton of stuff with them in it, but I did like in one of the Caiaphas Cain books, he deals with a Farseer who only like thinks Cain is important because he can't see like the futures like around him or like, you know, unseeable almost to them. But that's because like almost nobody knows that he is always next to his aide who's a blank. So the Farseer just can't like physically can't like psychically can't see the future. So to him, he's like, oh, this guy must be super important. No, he just is always next to a guy who throws off your mojo.
That's
is great.
I find that hilarious. I find that hilarious.
Oh, it's delightful. Yeah.
The one thing I love about the Farseer is that they have to be a warlock first, and only really a warlock first. They don't have to be any of the other types of things. And a warlock is a battle psyker. And I think that's like, when you're doing who's going to be leading the people, who's going to be seeing into the future, I think that's pretty important to have that kind of like role already established where, like we talked about, they are willing to sacrifice people or sacrifice planets or go to war, do things like that, or just even that they know the alternative. They don't want to go to war. So then they're like, okay, what other of the million fates can we get along here?
Yeah, and it makes all the sense in the world for them to have that battle experience as a battle psyker before they become a Farseer.
Yeah. Like lots of countries or whatever, you know, the military and the leadership, they're pretty equal in power, the government or whatever. But yeah, definitely on Craftworld. Yeah, you're always in battle mode. You're in survival mode on these Craftworlds. So you definitely are kind of run by the military mostly. Craftworld Ulthwé. And this is where Eldrad is from. Let's pull up a picture of what this guy looks like. Ulthwé drifts upon the very threshold of damnation, forever caught within the relentless grasp of the Eye of Terror. For millennia, it has circled the great rift of chaos, enduring ceaseless assaults from the horrors beyond reality. Vast halls still bear the scars of battle fought within its own wraithbone walls. Silent reminders that survival has always demanded vigilance, sacrifice, and unyielding resolve. The constant proximity to the warp has shaped Ulthwé unlike any other Craftworld. Its people possess an extraordinary abundance of seers and warlocks. Their psychic gifts honed by generations spent staring into the abyss. It's like when your kid's staring into the microwaves. Like, don't do it too long. You're going to hurt your eyes. Like, slap your kid's hand. Like, fuck. Their visions reach farther. Their prophecies strike truer. And nowhere is their burden of foresight carried more heavily than within the Seer Council, once guided by Eldrad Ulthran. Every decision made upon Ulthwé is measured against futures yet unborn. Wars ignited, alliances broken, and enemies quietly steered towards ruin. Not for immediate victory, but to reshape destinies centuries before their unfold. To outsiders, these acts appear cruel, arbitrary, and incomprehensible. Yet each is another calculated sacrifice and endless struggle to preserve the fading Aeldari race. Lacking the vast hosts of aspect warriors fielded by the other Craftworlds, Ulthwé instead relies upon the disciplined Black Guardians, citizen soldiers hardened by perpetual war against the servants of chaos. Even in moments of rare peace, the Craftworld knows no rest. Its people sleep beneath the protection of sacred dreamstones, forever guarding their souls from the eternal hunger of Slaanesh while awaiting the next vision of inevitable war. Yeah, Craftworld Ulthwé of all of them, I think, goes the hardest. Just its mentality of like, okay, first they're stuck in the Eye of Terror and they're just kind of like orbiting it. I think it's one of those things where they say they're slowly getting into it, getting sucked in, but they're never really gonna. But yeah, you get this kind of like nihilistic military prophetic Eldar. They're very cool that come out of here.
Were they the first or like one of the earliest craft worlds to get lore around them? Do you know? Because I feel like whenever I hear like Ulthwé, almost like to me seems like I hear about it as like the Ultramar of the Aeldari. You know, it's you know what it's like the standard Aeldari. I could be very wrong on that, but whenever, at least when I see it come up, I don't know what their colors are and whatnot.
Yeah, the big ones. Yeah, the big ones I always hear about when it's craft worlds. It's Ulthwé, Ulthan, and Ynnead.
Okay.
Yeah, like I feel like Ulthan might be a little more popular, but like I'm sure all three of these ones that we just mentioned were probably written around the same time. Like they're all kind of the big ones for sure. At some point in some editions, they had rules. I don't know where we're at now with kind of like sub factions like that, but they actually had playable rules and flavors and stuff. Yeah, pretty cool. So yeah, they have the Black Guardians too, which are pretty cool. They have their unique guys, just citizen soldiers, just more heavily leaned into like they know what's happening to their planet. Like they're just on the downward end of it all.
I think if I remember correct, the Eldar fans are going to have to correct me on this, but I think Ulthwé is probably the second most likely to ally with the Imperium, just because they're essentially hanging around the Eye of Terror, keeping chaos at bay. So,
yeah,
pretty cool. All right, well, let's dive back to Eldrad now that we got kind of some context on Farseers and his craft world.
Absolutely. History. Throughout his long existence, Eldrad Ulthran has repeatedly shaped the course of galactic history through prophecy, manipulation, and sacrifice. Long before the Horus Heresy, he attempted to warn the Imperium of the coming betrayal, though even his foresight could not prevent the corruption that followed. It doesn't help that the Primarch that he went to warn of said corruption was Fulgrim. Womp womp. F's in the chat, everybody.
Yeah, what do you do?
Across the millennia, Eldrad has guided the Ozuriani through countless crises, altering the movements of enemies, forging unlikely alliances, and making impossible choices to preserve his dying race. His predictions have saved craft worlds from destruction, redirected wars that threatened the Aeldari, and led armies against the forces of chaos when the future demanded action. Yet every victory has carried a terrible cost. Eldrad's decisions have often required sacrifices that others would find unforgivable, trading countless lives today for the possibility of survival tomorrow. To his allies, he is a guardian and prophet, but to his enemies, he is a hidden hand manipulating events from the shadows. This will be important later, folks. His legacy is not defined by battles won or enemies defeated, but by the futures he has prevented from coming to pass. For more than 10,000 years, Eldrad Ulthran has carried the burden of seeing the end of his people and fighting to delay it, one calculated decision at a time. This kind of gives me Ozymandias vibes from Watchmen. The very idea of killing millions to save billions comes to my mind.
Yeah, like I've done all the calculations, and this is the least horrible thing.
Yeah, it sucks when you're doing that with you're just doing that with human numbers, but it's not as bad when the Elder's like, well, sacrifice 10 billion monkeys, humans. I mean, okay, down.
Yeah, I mean the Eldar they're just so desperate because they can't do that much.
Yeah,
if only they were stronger. They could be better.
Stronger, tougher, slower.
They have to sacrifice all the humans because they're just not strong enough to fight back on their own. So.
Yeah.
This is the classic case of Eldar created the problem, sacrificing a bunch of humans to solve the problem that they created.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
Jeez,
literally, yeah, like they did create a whole lot of problems for themselves.
Jesus threat.
Hey, say, chap, why are the Monkaya mad at us?
But like on a more serious note, like imagine the pressure of you have 100 different visions of the future, and if you get like the littlest thing wrong, everybody dies.
Yeah. Horrible deaths or 1% chance success.
Hey, 1% still a chance.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
We joke, we shit on Eldrad, but to be fair, yeah, like trying to wrap your brain around those kind of calculations and those numbers, that's just even for like a psychic mind like an Eldar, that's a lot. Like that's a lot.
Yeah.
One thing I was thinking about before is just I guess for anybody that might be listening, if this is like your first Eldar episode here, a Craftworld is a giant planet-sized spaceship made out of living like psychic bone material. It's very cool. If you haven't listened to them, go look through the backlog of Lorehammer episodes. There's Eldar ones. Catch yourself up, but just a little glossary of terms for things.
Yeah, like even Farseers, they can manipulate that wraith bone with their powers. Like they're not bone singers, like full bone singers, but some of them have been full bone singers before they came Farseers and stuff. So yeah.
One of the stories I had seen Farseers in, I think it was in the Kane book too. They had these like spears that they could psychically control that could like fly around, like manipulate their flight a little bit. And I wonder if those were wraith bone. That's why they were doing it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It was pretty sweet. I'm not gonna lie. But anyway, Fall of the Eldar. For 10 millennia, Eldrad Ulthran has guided Craftworld Ulthwé, preserving his people through countless disasters since the fall of the Eldar. Speaking of problems the Eldar caused for themselves, his visions have saved remnants of his race from annihilation countless times, yet even his immense psychic strength has faded with age. Now he draws upon the wisdom of ancient dead seers preserved within Ulthwé's dome of crystal seers and the spirit stones housed within the staff of Ulthamar, allowing forgotten voices of the past to guide his eternal struggle.
Yeah. So he was there. I always wonder like what he how did he fall into this role? Like, so the Eldar fell, he was on a Craftworld, he was on one of the last ones that got out of kind of the Eldar Empire. That's why it got like stayed in the Eye of Terra. That's kind of why it got stuck or whatever. But yeah, like what was he? Who was he before this? Was he some psyker still? Was he still reading the like future, or like he hadn't gone on the whole path yet, on all these different paths and become a Farseer, all that. So like, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I mean, because he was, since he was there during the fall. Like, did he? Was he already a leader of his craft world, and that's why they got out? Is because he saw that future and helped them get out?
Yeah, and like I wonder like how quick these craft worlds were to like change into what they are now. Like with the whole pass system, warrior pass, all the different aspects and stuff, like I don't think we really get any dates, but we know it happens after the fall, which happens really around the same time as the Great Crusade, a little bit before that. So it's, yeah, it has this like time of solidifying this like Eldar culture on craft worlds where you don't quite see it happen, but it kind of does.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I feel like everything with the Eldar seems like it takes a while. They don't seem like a quick to change people.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I was thinking too. Like they were talking about the warp storms and the Age of Strife or whatnot, and that was like a period of 5,000 years before the birth of Slaanesh. So I wonder if it was like during that time period, or maybe even slightly before. That's where like the first Exodites kind of saw the metaphorical writing on the wall and said, "Fuck this shit, I'm out," followed by the craft worlds or whatnot. So maybe this was just like one of the last ones before the big pop,
Yeah, we're going to talk about Eldrad in the Horus Heresy, and I'm trying to remember. It's been so long since I read the Fulgrim book when they fight or whatever. If they were fighting, if they mentioned their aspect warriors there at that battle, because that'd be a good then little time mark of, well, at least we know that they were there then.
Yeah, that's true.
So the Horus Heresy. Before the fires of the Horus Heresy consumed the galaxy, Eldrad Ulthran had already witnessed the shadow of a coming age of ruin. Through visions stretched across the skeins of fate, he foresaw darkness that rivaled even the fall of the Aeldari, a catastrophe born not from the excesses of his own people, but for the corruption of humanity and the awakening hunger of chaos. Seeking to prevent this future, Eldrad became the first to warn the Imperium of Horus's betrayal. Yet prophecy is a cruel grift, and even the greatest warnings may arrive too late. He traveled to the maiden world of Tarsus and sought the aid of Fulgrim, believing the Primarch of the Emperor's children could become a shield against the coming storm. Instead, Eldrad discovered a horrifying truth. Fulgrim had already fallen, his soul poisoned by the influence of Slaanesh. When the Primarch unleashed destruction upon the world, Eldrad and his Ulthwé warriors were forced into the battle against the foe they had no hope to save. The death of his ancient advisor and the Wraith Lord Kyrion Goldhelm became another scar upon Eldrad's endless memory and deepening his distrust in humanity. Yeah, okay. Fun little battle. That was a crazy scene. You basically have felt Fulgrim punch Avatar of Cain to death.
Oh,
with his bare hands.
How demony was Fulgrim at this point?
Not at all. Like,
okay, so just like a pure Primarch punching a Avatar of Cain to death. Oh,
yeah, like he had the sword, the Lear sword at this point, but yeah, like they describe afterward when he was on like the flagship or whatever, his hands look like volcanoes or whatever, just like cracked and molten, scarred, and then like the next day they're slowly healed or whatever. But lesson learned, kids, don't punch an Avatar.
Right. Unless you got a demon sword powering you.
Yeah. Just imagine choking out an Avatar of Cain.
Yeah. Oh God.
Oh boy.
It's just fucking embarrassing.
Yeah. So Eldrad kind of gets a gross understanding of humanity here. They're like, oh, these guys. Yeah. Okay. So they are going to bring about the end of everything. Perfect.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. This was a mistake. Never talking to these jerks again.
Yeah.
He picked the wrong Primarch. It should have been Gilliman.
Right. And again, and it's another one of those things, you know, if this one little thing had flipped, you know, how could things have gone? Like, would this have prevented, obviously, probably not every Primarch from turning, I feel like, but would this have prevented some of them? You know, would they have been able to curb that, and maybe they only lose like 5 Primarchs to chaos or something?
Yeah, or they don't get ambushed right off the bat, so it's an even fight, or who knows. But yeah, the difference between approaching, you see the future. You're like, okay, there's a future there. I know I got to get in contact with a Primarch, so you run into Fulgrim. But yeah, you're supposed to run into Gilliman.
Yeah, Gilliman. I mean, Dorn.
I don't know. Dorn would probably just end up in the same punching it to death situation, right?
I feel like I think Johnson, Russ probably would, Khan probably would fight. I think Dorn's practical enough that you'd have a shot. Maybe less of a shot than Gilliman, but I think Dorn you'd still have a shot.
Yeah, for sure. But also, like, I guarantee you, he probably saw the future where if he had gone to Papa Vulcan, he would have met a very crispy end immediately.
Generic Edgelord says Kane gets shit on so much in 40k. Man, he's so much better in fantasy. He kind of becomes that Worf character a lot, where you can kill him infinitely, and he's a high enough power level, so you kind of just have at her.
Yeah.
Have your way with him, the God of War.
Pete. He is a lot better done in fantasy. So. But
but some of Ray's rants, and it sounds better.
And he has written some rants, my friend. He has written some rants. But we go from one disaster to another. The Cabal. Not a Drukhari Cabal, unfortunately. Yet despite this betrayal, Eldrad did not abandon mankind. He understood a truth hidden from many of his own kin. Humanity was not merely another species competing for survival, but a vital barrier against the endless advance of chaos. Again, he just chose the wrong Primarch. Happens to the best of us. Through his meeting with John Grammaticus, Eldrad rejected the Cabal's belief that humanity's destruction would weaken chaos, instead arguing that the Imperium's survival was essential to the future of the galaxy. Rather than allow the Fulgurite to become another weapon of death, Eldrad manipulated events so that it would instead become an instrument of salvation, convincing Grammaticus to use it to restore Vulcan's shattered mind. In doing so, the ancient Farseer once again sacrificed certainty for possibility, guiding others towards a future only he could perceive. Eldrad later appeared to Vulcan and Barthusa Narek through visions, urging them toward the path's fate demanded. Believing the Cabal's plan would doom all life, he began a secret campaign against them, working against Narek to eliminate those who sought to guide the galaxy toward ruin. These actions revealed Eldrad's most dangerous quality. He was willing to manipulate even allies and enemies alike if it meant preserving the fragile future he had foreseen.
Yeah, you guys are reading Fate wrong. You can't read it that way. You're
Right.
sacrificing too many races. Yeah, there's this weird line that he's not willing to cross. But I think also most of the Eldar die in the Cabal's plan as well. So
Okay.
yeah.
No way that influenced his decision at all.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, the Cabal is an interesting one. We'll have to do an episode at one point. It's so deep and so kind of chaotic and cluttered with stuff. And you never really get full answers. I think they kind of wrote it a little bit and then never really picked it back up. And I feel like it just got left hanging almost. You see John Grammaticus come back a whole bunch of time, but I feel like the Cabal itself might not in the same way as the Alpha Legion book. But
Go Alpha Legion.
Okay.
yeah, we'll carry on. The Cabal is interesting.
Yeah.
Eldrad definitely would have been a good member, I think, a good leader if, just one too many Eldar died, though. So, not for it.
Yeah. So next we have A Dance Without End. As the Horus Heresy approached its darkest hour, Ulthwé became the gathering place for a rare alliance of Eldari factions. Eldrad spoke with Craftworld leaders, Exodites, defenders of lost worlds, and even representatives from Camorra, warning them that their hesitation had allowed disaster to grow beyond control. Hold on one second.
Beyond control. I'll pick up where you're.
He's being silenced.
Yet even Eldrad, the greatest of the Farseers, felt his own visions fading as Horus' forces gathered strength. Then came the final revelation. What Eldrad believed was the ancient dance without end, what revealed to be the dance of the end and the death, a prophecy foretelling the birth of the Dark King. Once again, Eldrad stood before a future filled with impossible choices, carrying the knowledge that seeing destiny unfold does not mean possessing the power to change it. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, that seems to be another thing that happens when you try to mess with fate. You do all this stuff, and in the end, it pushes you into the fate you're trying to avoid the whole time, and only in that moment do you realize it. Oh fuck.
Gotta love those. Gotta love those predestination paradoxes. Creating the future that you're trying to prevent.
Yeah, exactly. So he tries to help with the Imperium a lot in the beginning. But kind of, just realizes, okay, they're not going to help me back. They're going to kill me. Oh, and they make a bunch of psychic demons or are trying to and stuff. So you're probably not good. Probably not gonna work.
Yeah.
And then we jump.
I mean, it's just what do you do when you see a ton of impossible decisions to make and just You know what's going to happen if you fuck up, but you don't have the power to fix it, so you're destined to fuck up.
Oof. Yeah, and what does that do to your soul after that? Like you're just like seeing that over and over for 10,000 years of like these futures that you try to change, and you're just like, oh, it's not working, but I got to keep trying. It's better than what it would have been.
He's like the Eldar version of tired Gilliman in 40K. Bro just needs a hug.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, you did your best with the shit you were given. So then we jump forward 2,000 years to the War of the Beast. In the aftermath of the disastrous Proletarian Crusade, Terra stood upon the edge of uncertainty, its rulers exhausted and its defenders divided. It was during this moment that the weakness set, an impossible event unfolded. A surviving Crusade vessel returned from the cradle of humanity carrying 3 orcs, one of whom came to claim the title of ambassador. This creature, a new and terrifying evolution of the beast orcs, possessed intelligence beyond expectation, speaking the language of humanity and demanding the surrender of Terra itself. The High Lords were left without answer, confronted by an enemy they could neither comprehend nor dismiss. The Orc ambassador Bezrak departed with contempt for their hesitation, believing their weakness has revealed the decay of the Imperium. Yet as his presence faded, another power entered the skies above the Imperial Palace, one far older and more mysterious. At the command of Eldrad Ulthran, a small host of Harlequins descended upon Terra, led by Shadow Seer Lariel Ray. They entered the heart of the Imperium, claiming to carry a message of peace from the ancient Farseer. To the defenders of humanity, however, they appeared as intruders, and those who attempted to halt their advance were cut down without hesitation. The Harlequins passed through the palace defenses and reached the inner sanctum. They were faced with wrath of the Adeptus Custodes. Their mission was not conquest nor destruction, but a desperate attempt to deliver Eldrad's warning directly to the Emperor. Yet the path of the Golden Throne was denied, and Lariel Ray was captured before she could complete her purpose. Only through the intervention of Imperial officers was the Shadowseer spared immediate execution. Taken for interrogation, she revealed the true reason behind her incursion. Eldrad had sent her bearing a message for the Emperor himself, carrying, as proof, the tooth of the Nocturnian drake gifted to him by Vulcan. Through this act, Eldar once again crossed the impossible divide between the Aeldari and humanity. He had secretly aided Terra by claiming the warp surrounding the world, allowing Imperial forces to resist the Orcs' threat. Yet his vision showed a greater darkness approaching. The Orcs were merely another storm upon the horizon. A true catastrophe was waiting beyond sight.
God, it's gonna be like, just can I catch a break?
Yeah. You don't kill the messenger. Have you guys never fucking heard that? The Harlequins are yelling that, like,
right.
We come in peace.
I mean, yeah. I'm sure no Eldar has ever killed the messenger. Certainly.
No,
certainly not. No. I feel like that's got to be an interesting like scene though, like the Harlequins like fighting their way. I'm assuming fighting their way towards the inner sanctum, towards the Golden Throne.
It was one of these weird, like, you get a couple interpretations of custodes, and this is one of those bad ones, I think. The Harlequins come off great, where, yeah, they're dancing around and just poking custodians, and they're just dying. You know, these 2,000-year-old veterans are just falling over like tissue paper. Okay. So that's kind of like, yeah, that's kind of a bummer to see that kind of stuff happen, but it's bound to happen. Whatever.
I can't remember. Was one of them supposed to be a solitaire too? Because
yeah,
I think if I read right, like the solitaire is probably the closest other than, no, I can't even say Avatar came, like the closest like an Eldar would get to like Primarch power levels or whatever. So
yeah, that's an extreme statement, but I'll allow it.
It was. I'm sure it was an Eldar fan that had made that statement.
Yeah.
But
yeah, maybe a Primaris Marine. We'll give him that much better.
Okay, close enough.
Close enough. Tomatoes.
Generic in the comments is saying that the Harlequins aren't normal Eldar. I guess it's like they ought to be able to kill Custodes. Man, I don't know.
Like, I know what you're saying, they're not normal, but at the same time, they are also just Eldar. Like,
Okay.
they're
Did I
not
get your
they're
statement
not
wrong then?
super soldiers. You know, they don't have like 20 gene seed that they're putting into them. Like, they're not doing any genetic modification or even like psychic modification. It's yeah. So I don't know about that. They definitely have very cool technology and very good training and stuff. But Custodes, man, like, I don't know.
Remember, folks, Custodes, they're supposed to be the best of the best of the best of the Imperium. So.
Yeah, and if you can just kill a bunch of them with some Harlequin, you're kind of like, what are we up to here? But
And
power
even
level,
like him saying solitaires are far above. It's and this is something that I feel like we should have more of in the 40K books is like drawn out brutal fights between people. Even if they're like not necessarily the same power level, at least like have it be some sort of a fight. Like, I feel like just there's too many times where it's, you know, one shot after one shot after one shot. And just so even like within a book with, you know, from a single author, inconsistencies on what armor will stop what ammunition and what ammunition will go through what armor. And
yeah.
Yeah,
you get some books where it's like one of the first Horus Heresy books. You get a Space Marine who loses his arm and he still keeps going, and they make jokes about it. He's like, "No, I can still take the next wall or whatever. Like, I got this." Like, he's just running around with one arm, you know. And then other times you get Space Marines who just crumple when somebody looks at them, or a lasgun fires at their shoulder plate and they die. And you're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, like yeah, in some of the books, like, so yeah, it's like some of the novels I've read. I you know, again, unsurprisingly, I've read a few things that have Tau in them, and it's just wildly inconsistent of Tau like plasma rifles just punching holes clear through Space Marine armor, or it hits their Space Marine armor and doesn't do anything, or yeah, it's and even so you and a little bit in between.
And to be fair to Mr. Generic Edgelord here too, like maybe I'm just not aware of a lot of Eldar media, but there just does not seem to be as much lore on them, the Harlequins, period. Especially when you compare it to the ocean of Space Marines and Primarchs and Guard. So
yeah, he's saying solitaires are scary, real scary, extremely rare. Like they're blanks, aren't they? Yeah, they're very cool for sure.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like my problem with it. Like, you're basically telling me that a handful of Eldar Harlequins can raid the Imperial Palace, something that Horus himself and 10 legions had a hard time doing. And all of a sudden you get 10 Eldar Harlequins prancing in and causing a big fucking chaos situation, you know? I know, you know, it was a long time since I read that book, but I remember feeling queasy after reading it.
Yeah, so like
has gotten so much plot poison his Marines got armor. Yeah, and you know that's fair. Like, yeah, how many Eldar have died to Space Marine plot armor? How many Eldar?
That is fair. And also to be fair to you, Mark, Fuzz, I can't remember if you said you've read War of the Beast or not. I have not, but I've heard a lot of the we'll say horror stories that it was like 12 books written by 5 or 6 different authors in the space of like a year and a half. So let that sink in, the kind of inconsistencies and shifts that you're probably going to read.
Perfect 40K lore right there.
12 books in a year and a half, even 2 years, even 3 years. 12 books in 3 years by 5 different authors. That's
and you're
going to have bananas inconsistencies between them.
Madness.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Well,
absolute crazy pants. Anyway.
Yeah. I would believe it if it was like a solitaire, maybe 2 solitaires. And that would find that a little bit more believable with the whole Custodes things, but I'm also a Custodes fanboy, so what do I know? Okay. How about we leave with that dumpster fire and we'll go to a proper boy, Gezku Mag Uruk Threka. I'm very tempted to do this in my orc voice, but I'm not going to. Eldrad Ulthran foresaw the ascent of Gezku Thraka through visions cast beyond the veil of reality. After the fall of the beast, he warned Ulthwé's seers that such creatures are not truly destroyed, only delayed by fate. Through the other sea, Eldrad heard the ancient orc war chant and recognized a storm gathering in the darkness. And it says, "Can I get a wah in the chat?" When Ulthwé's warriors redirected a wah, threatening Craftworld Idre, that's what I'm going to say, into some nearby Astartes, their actions unknowingly forged the legend of Gezku Thraka forever.
Edgelord coming in here. Oh, he's the guy who got killed by Ragnar. As if that's like Gazkill's like crowning achievement. Maybe that's where he lost his crown, but
yeah. This does bring up though an interesting like aspect of the whole Farseer thing. Like, okay, you see this one vision of the future, but you don't see how this future then affects the next future potentially. So he sees this future where we have to redirect this Wa into Craftworld Ynnead, or from exterminating Craftworld Ynnead, but he doesn't see that now this creates the war boss of war bosses, just about like the Wa of Was.
Yeah, the war boss that he was warning the Imperium about like 8,000 years in the War of the Beast, he kind of spurred him on.
Yeah,
eventually.
Exactly. So, yeah, so it's you have sorry. I have to wonder how much they try to take into account that, like, if they have to get to the end of the Destiny vision that they are currently on before they see more branching paths, if that makes sense. So they've got 10 paths to get to this one end. They have to get to the end of one of those paths before they see the next set of branches.
Yeah. It's like you have to actually round that corner of fate before you see where it's gonna go.
Yeah.
I also kind of see this like that meme of the dude shooting the guy in the chair, and he's turning around acting all confused, like, why did I just shoot that guy in the chair? It's like he shoots it. Gazkul Thraka turns around. Why didn't they listen to me warning them about Gazkul Thraka?
Oh man. Haran Shamash. Among Eldrad Ulthran's greatest visions was the foretelling of Haran's doom, a world where the powers of chaos sought to tear open reality and unleash their endless hordes upon the Materium and the Webway. For many months, the ancient Farseer guided a vast host of Aeldari warriors, joined by the legendary Phoenix Lords, against the servants of the Dark Gods. Through sacrifice and suffering, Eldrad's forces sealed the rift and denied chaos its victory. Yet the cost was immense, and the blood spilled upon Haran forever marked the world as Haran Shamash, the world of blood and tears.
Haran Shamash. Yeah, that's a fun name.
So yeah, again, like it's that sacrificing, 100 Eldari souls to save 1,000,000 or whatever, and prevents, this new rip in the Materium for demons to come through. And it sounds like also you get like safeguarding the Webway, which has to be a priority for them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. We talked about like how Eldrad can kind of pop up anywhere, and without the Webway, you kind of lose that ability. So
yeah,
he needs it.
Maybe that's how the Harlequins were able to prance past the Custodes.
Yeah. Did they have a portal that? No, because they arrived in space and then they like.
Yeah.
Get how they got.
I'm trying to give them some credit here, so.
I mean, maybe I'm sure the Eldar have teleportation technology, so maybe they teleported already into a good portion of the Imperial Palace.
Yeah.
I've read the book. So I'm just, like I said, we're trying to not be super down on the Eldar. Give him a little credit here.
Okay, so more credit in Eldrad's favor. He's got some drip for an Eldar.
Oh yeah.
Great. Yeah, I love the sword that he has on his back.
Yeah, he is. Bro has got some drip. I approve.
I will say that helmet crest has to give him a neck workout though. That thing's gonna off balance his dome so hard,
Yeah.
but it looks very good. Like
Yeah,
that
and it
helmet
carries
has
the
so much-
weight of 10,000 years of ancestors on it too, so it's even heavier.
right. It's got to have its own like little micro anti-grav thing on it just to keep his head stable.
Yeah.
What was the thing that said heavy is the head that wears the crown?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. So we'll jump to Madrax. Eldrad foresaw a terrible chain of events upon the tomb world of Madrax, where the Imperial Explorator fleet would awaken an Eldar Necron dynasty hidden beneath the surface. Acting upon his prophecy, Ulthwé forces emerged from the webware and struck the human vessels before they could unleash the forgotten enemy. The conflict soon became a struggle between three ancient powers. A Blood Angel battle barge arrived seeking vengeance for the fallen Mechanicus explorers, forcing the Eldari to fight against both the Imperium and the awakening Necrons. Despite Eldrad's calculations, the buried dynasty proved far greater than expected, rising in overwhelming numbers and consuming the system. The Battle of Madrax became another example of Eldrad's impossible choices. His actions prevented a greater catastrophe, yet demanded conflict with those who might have been allies. Once again, the Farseer was forced to choose between the immediate sacrifice and the future too terrible to allow. The tragedy of Madrax revealed that even the perfect visions cannot guarantee victory, only survival against the darkness. You know what? Maybe he should just stop meddling, though, you think?
Nah.
I mean,
Okay, so
but like we said, maybe if he had let one of these worlds die, maybe if he had let one of these catastrophes happen, something better would have happened. So who knows? That's the thing is like he's seeing this one vision of fate and being arguably selfish about it,
Yeah.
Which
because I think even he'd take it as far. Like, I wonder if he had to choose between sacrificing X and Y Craftworld. Like, if Ulthwé is about to be sacrificed, or he could sacrifice Ulthan. Now we're talking.
Yeah, or like, would he sacrifice Ulthwé to save every other craft world, or would
well, that'd be a good one too. Yeah,
or what if it came down to sacrificing, all of the Eldar to preventing the Immaterium from spilling over into the universe fully.
You have to sacrifice all the puppies in the universe, but Slaanesh will leave you alone. But no more puppies.
Oh, damn.
That's fine. I'm a cat person. I can live with that.
Okay.
Buzz, you're dead to me.
That's fair.
Nah, I like cats too. Hold on.
I say
I got 3 dogs, and each one is a bigger bastard than the last. So.
Here's a cat.
Yeah, that's
right. Like,
cat.
I had a dog. She was great, but yeah, man, she was a pain in the ass way more than my cats ever have been.
Yeah.
I had a thing, but I lost my train of thought. So
the point is, the Eldar are selfish.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Because like he's automatic, like he's doing all these calculations, but he's doing it with the save the Eldar in mind. So he's gonna automatically choose any kind of future that will save Eldar, no matter what else he's sacrificing. So, but what if, just like what Mark was saying, like what if he has to sacrifice some Eldar to save more in the future, or if he has to save some humans, some Monkai? I know, dreadful thought for Eldar players right now, but like, what if that helps out the Eldar in the future? So
I think that's definitely something he would do. Like if he saves some humans that will also then go on saving Eldar, sure.
Okay, but now put him in a scenario where it's either save X craft world or Y humans, but saving Y humans would save Z millions and billions of Eldar. Which do you think is he going to do?
Of fate, mind.
That's good though. Yeah, it's like if you save these humans, 1 million Eldar will be saved. But if you let these humans die and save these Eldar, 100,000 Eldar would be saved. But you're also saving these extra 1,000 Eldar. But
and you have to
900,000 more Eldar.
Right. So it's just like. It's like Jack Sparrow in the third Pirates of the Caribbean movie. How much rum is more rum?
I mean, honestly, thinking about like the mental calculations and the choices that Farseers have to make reminds me sometimes of like talking to my wife about higher math. Because my wife has a pure math degree and 2 math minors, and it's far beyond my comprehension.
Higher math. like times tables?
Right.
No, little more than that.
Yep.
I can do times tables. I can do fractions just because I've done like construction stuff, but that's about as far as it goes for me.
Yeah, these are the kind of calculations I need to go to my sister for. So,
Yeah.
Okay, we're derailing this quite a bit. So back on to the 13th Black Crusade. I don't know where that came from. I'm sorry. I'm hopped up on caffeine right now.
Caffeine and pizza.
Absolutely. Upon Andante 4, Eldrad Ulthran confronted one of the greatest threats to Craftworld Ulthwé when Ezekiel Abaddon and the sorcerer Zaraphiston sought control of a webway gate that could have exposed the Craftworld to destruction. The Despoiler's true objective was not merely conquest, but the annihilation of Ulthwé's Seer Council, severing the very source of guidance that had preserved the Craftworld for millennia. Eldrad foresaw the coming storm and directed the defense alongside the warriors of the Ghost Wind. Sorry. Okay. Through the ancient waystones, he divided his consciousness across the battlefield, guiding countless strike forces through the webway while unleashing his psychic might across multiple fronts. His presence became a shadow over the war, a single mind commanding an entire host through the unseen pathways of fate. The battle claimed countless lives before Eldrad and Abaddon finally met in personal combat. Ooh. Duel! Supported by his Ulthwé warriors, the ancient Farseer defeated the Despoiler and stood ready to deliver the final blow with the Staff of Ulthamar. Yet in that moment, Eldrad realized that GW needs Abaddon as the poster boy for Chaos Marines.
Of course.
Eldrad witnessed a terrible truth. His own death was written among the possible futures, and Abaddon would continue his path of destruction. Before fate could be fulfilled, the Chaos Gods themselves intervened and carried Abaddon away. I'm getting the image of just like Khorne picking up like a crying Abaddon. It's like, show me where the elf touched you.
Yeah, Abaddon's like no. I totally had him right where I want him. Why did you do that?
Oh, man. Wounded by exhaustion and burdened by visions, Eldrad appointed a successor before embarking upon another impossible mission. Entering the depths of the warp, he sought to save the corrupted soul of a talisman of Vol, a.k.a. a Blackstone Fortress, before its power could destroy Cadia. There he abandoned his mortal form and entered a psychic battle against the corruption within, leaving his waystone silent and his survival uncertain. For a time, Eldrad became less a warrior and more a legend, a prophet who had sacrificed his body in pursuit of a future others could not see. Only the young warlock Cassandra believed he could survive the hunger of Slaanesh within the warp, and her faith proved true. Eldrad returned from the abyss, carrying with him the Shadowseer, Salandri Veilwalker, and once again stepping onto the stage of galactic history during the 13th Black Crusade. I'm really interested to actually read about that because like that seemed like one of the big events that like everybody was involved in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, yeah, like it's featured. We could find out, but yeah, it's featured across so many different lore blurbs, you know, across so many different editions and stuff, and it kind of just kept getting added to for so many years. We'll find out though.
Yeah, like not to the same scale. It might have also been in that Nexus book. Sometimes like where things were run together, but it was a it was, I think, Fabius Bile doing a psychic battle against an Eldar by like sending his mind into like their crystals, and just like the visualization of that psychic battle is really cool.
That is very cool.
Like all the Eldar souls form this like crystal warrior powered by the sun or something. It's wild. It's great. All right. So speaking of big events in 40K, the Awakening of Ynnead. In the closing days of the 41st millennium, Eldrad Ulthran pursued one of the greatest gambles of his endless life, the Awakening of Ynnead, the Aeldari god of the dead. By linking the infinity circuits of the craft worlds through Ulthwé's crystal seers, Eldrad hoped to unite the souls of his people into a psychic beacon powerful enough to draw Ynnead into reality. He knew the ritual would leave entire craft worlds vulnerable, but after 10,000 years of watching the Aeldari approach extinction, he believed survival demanded risk. At Port Demenstus, the Death Watch disrupted the ritual with a stasis bomb, creating a moment beyond Eldrad's sight. His plan collapsed, yet the gathered energies found a new purpose through Yvrain and the birth of the Incarn. Seeing the Ynnari as another possible path to salvation, Eldrad pushed Ulthwé into further dangerous acts, including the creation of a warp bridge linking Ulthwé and Bieltan. Though the ritual succeeded, 3 great Farseers were transformed into crystal, and the Seer Council condemned Eldrad for sacrificing lives and exceeding his authority. Eldrad defended his choices as necessary calculations against annihilation, but the divide could not be healed. He departed Ulthwé alongside other renegade seers, continuing his work among the Ynnari and guiding survivors during the fall of Cadia. Though he eventually returned to the Seer Council, his search for salvation continued through visions, ancient prophecies, and the hunt for Crone's words? Okay, sorry. That was Crone World for a second. Unless it's supposed to be
Crone swords.
Oh, Crone swords. Sorry. Yeah. Eyes did not catch some of that. So hunt for Crone swords. Over time, Eldrad grew wary of Yvrain's increasing desperation and began to distance himself from the Ynnari. Yet his purpose remained unchanged. For 10,000 years, he had guided armies, manipulated enemies, and sacrificed everything in pursuit of a future where the Eldari might survive. His greatest tragedy was that he could see countless futures, but never one in which his people were truly free from suffering. Yeah, that would be like a really interesting point to get to also for the Eldari. Like, I think the birth of Ynnead is a little good in that, like, they can almost now find new focus for the Eldari stories as opposed to just survival, and trying to, just stave off Slaanesh getting their souls by default. Because I think it could also lead to some really interesting stories with the Dark Eldar, since like that's kind of their purpose of doing what they do to siphon off others' life energy so that they don't get eaten. Well, now if Slaanesh doesn't get their souls by default, they either have to find new justification for what they're doing, and maybe some of them start to drift back towards normal Eldari society. I know, like I've read that some people really don't like the birth of another chaos god, or one of the Eldar gods, and that whole thing. Because I think also, if I remember right, Ynnead is supposed to kill Slaanesh, or like they kill each other.
Yeah, like Ynnead still in its like birthing stages, and then it was interrupted, so it wasn't fully formed to be like fully powerful. So like they still have to do a couple steps or something like that.
Yeah, and like I don't like even if it like doesn't kill Slaanesh, I think killing Slaanesh might be a little bit too far. But if it at least like prevents the Eldar from just by default getting eaten by Slaanesh, and maybe again you can find some interesting refocuses for the story, I think that's fine.
Like it has so much potential, and like there's a couple of things I really like. Like I like that this faction came from old lore. Like Ynnead is an old lore concept. They always kind of had it, and then they actually advanced it and brought it kind of forward. I do like that then you kind of have this third Eldar faction of like that anyone can be a part of. Now we have Exodites that have models officially. So like, you know, we could have Dark Eldar, Craftworld, and Exodites are all in the Ynnari faction. And then if they got like one or two of their own special units, like there's so much potential there. But I think they just fumbled it so much. Like
that's what it seems like, is that, yeah.
Yeah, like they came up with a couple meme things. Like Yvrain, like Gerald was saying, just kind of got memed into oblivion. So that was no good. You get this like sexy Eldar character and everyone just loses their mind. Starts making big titty Eldar girlfriend memes. What do? We can't help it. We got to do it. Yeah, and then
I told him I would put this. I would put this in if we got to big titty Eldar. But I was talking to Tristan from Hobby Hangar earlier today, and talking about like, you know, big titty Xenos girlfriends, and he's like, I park my battle cruiser in her warp portal or something like that.
It's too tight. It won't fit. Yeah. The other kind of bad thing, or just maybe not like.
Oh, well, the other thing we're forgetting about Ynnead, because Edgelord just brought up, all the Eldar need to die before things actually happen with that. So
yeah, so that was the thing. Okay. So fully get its power. So to destroy Slaanesh, to keep the Eldar safe, you have to kill all the Eldar. What happened there?
Yeah.
Then maybe they will do kind of like a half step where like they don't die, but then Slaanesh doesn't die, but then their souls don't default to Slaanesh. I don't know. Yeah. And
then like the other thing they need to kind of like really work out is like when this faction dies, they actually can resurrect themselves, and like they get into this kind of endless resurrection cycle. And I know they say when they come back, maybe they don't quite come back fully themselves, and you can only do it so many times, but it just felt so powerful. And you get the example right off the bat of Yvrain killing Guilliman and then resurrecting Guilliman from the warp, and you're just like, oh man, I don't fully like it.
She's a witch.
I think there's ways you could make it interesting in a story, but again, like it would involve GW having to do things like that. So like say the Eldar the Eldar all have to die for a Slaanesh to get killed, and you need to be born, and they can resurrect themselves. But okay, they resurrect themselves. Maybe they're either far less or not psychic at all, or like some kind of drawback to being resurrected.
And not just like, well, now they're not as funny and quirky. Gary doesn't laugh anymore.
Right.
Like it needs to be a little more. But yeah, definitely some potential. I would be sad if they got rid of Ynnead and Ynnari faction. I definitely would like to see like an overhaul and like kind of like a revamp of the ideas, but I think there's stuff there.
That kind of boggles me that the Ynnead stuff is from old war that they've tried to incorporate, but just bungled so badly. Like you would think this was just like really bad new lore that they just tried to shoehorn in, but no.
It was. Yeah, like part of the charm of all the Eldar stuff is all that old Eldar mythos and stuff. And we did we've done a few episodes on it, I think, where like, we're talking about all their different gods, and are they gods? Are they like old one mentors? All these different things. So, yeah.
All right. So crystallization. The passage of 10,000 years has begun to claim even Eldrad Ulthran. Within the dome of crystal seers, the ancient Farseer withdraws from the living world, his body slowly transforming into translucent crystal as his mortal form fades. He has foreseen the day when his soul shall join the spirits of his ancestors, yet he refuses that final rest, bound by duty to guide lesser races and continue his endless war against chaos. Through prophecy and sacrifice, Eldrad has prevented countless disasters from consuming the galaxy. His warnings prepared Liandon against the Hive Fleet Kraken, while his interventions saved Samhain from the Hrud and disrupted the schemes of Daemons and Awakened Catan. He has altered the paths of fate more times than any living being can count, preventing over 100 catastrophes since the rise of the Imperium. Yet every future saved brings him closer to the final silence awaiting him. I did look it up because I was asking earlier, like, what was the Craftworld for the red and white and black Eldar color scheme you see on the box art? It is Simhan, whatever.
Yeah. Cool.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Um.
I always
So
try to
that-
play a game of like what faction is actually on the box art of each like race or
Mhm.
each, group.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. These crystal seers are kind of wild. Like soul storms are just like some type of warp crystal, solidified warp crystal. Wraithbone is solidified warp energy. So then, yeah, these seers, if they're messing around too much in the strands of fate, they eventually like get warp crystallized.
Mm.
Fucking wild. But you can still talk to them when they're like this, so that's nice. They just can't move.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, doesn't
Not all
look like he's having a good time. So
No, it's a great time.
Right.
All right, let's talk about his appearance. Eldrad carries himself with the quiet authority of one who has witnessed 10 millennia of triumph and catastrophe. Clad in ornate black and bone robes adorned with intricate runic sigils, he embodies the somber traditions of Craftworld Ulthwé. His ancient ghost helm rises high above his head, its elegant curves protecting his mind and proclaiming his mastery of the psychic arts. The staff of Ulthramar never leaves his grasp, serving as both a symbol of office and a conduit of immense power. Though his form is slender and seemingly frail by standards of younger warriors, every measured step and unwavering gaze speaks of absolute confidence. His eyes appear heavy with countless visions, and as though they are fixed upon futures invisible to all others, while the wraithbone runes that accompany him drift through the air in silent orbit, ever shifting as they trace endless skeins of fate. Cool. It's like that guy who's always juggling, but he's always just like drifting runes around. Cool. I like it.
I imagine the staff never leaves his hands. Like he goes in the shower with him. Goes. To the
it's got its own pillow when he sleeps.
So like tucked in bed next to him. But again, it's still in his hand. He does everything one-handed.
Yeah. This artwork is like his famous artwork, and he's got this sweet fur cape on it, but his model doesn't, which is a shame.
They say that fur mantle is really nice. Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, like that image is giving me Elrond vibes, like big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could say
and there's some people who've tried to do it. Like here's a nice little example of somebody putting some fur on it, but needs to be puffier and fluffier.
Easy green stuff. You got this.
Yeah. 10-step tutorial on YouTube. Go for it. Yeah, very cool.
Let's delve a little bit into his mind, his personality, so to speak. Eldrad Ulthran is often described as wise, yet wisdom alone cannot explain the strange gravity that surrounds him. More than 10,000 years of prophecy have transformed him into something both revered and feared, a being who views the galaxy not in moments, but in centuries. He speaks rarely, listens constantly, and weighs every action against futures invisible to those around him. To his allies, he appears patient and compassionate. To his enemies, he is a master of manipulation, capable of sacrificing armies, worlds, and even friendships if doing so preserves the survival of the Aeldari. Yet beneath that cold precision lies profound weariness. Eldrad has witnessed the countless catastrophes, warned of disasters that others ignored, and endured the knowledge that many of his victories merely postpone extinction rather than prevent it. He carries a terrible understanding that prophecy offers no perfect choices, only lesser tragedies. Thus, his personality is defined by an uneasy union of ancient wisdom, ruthless calculation, and the sorrow of a seer who has spent 10 millennia watching the future grow steadily darker. I think that's an important thing to kind of point out, because Eldar lived for such a long time, only maybe the Necrons could understand just the sheer scale of everything going on for you to plot out that far in advance.
Yeah, and I feel like even the Necrons would. I mean, realistically, but also just because the Necrons are even more like uppity about being better than you than the Eldar are. Like they would be like, "Oh, you only think in 10,000 years." Ha ha ha.
Feeble.
But yeah, Eldrad definitely seems like a man who does not smile.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a game the local boys try to do when he's like in his crystal dome or whatever. They try to tell doc jokes to him and stuff. Try to make him smile, try to make him laugh.
And then he kills one of them because if he answered the knock joke, 3 Eldar would have died. I don't know.
I had to do it. It saved the craft world from me.
From me losing my goddamn mind.
Yeah.
So what kind of abilities does Eldrad have? We know he's psychic, but Eldrad possesses a mastery of the psychic arts surpassed by none among the living Eldari. Like every Farseer, he reads the endless skein of fate through the casting of Wraithbone runes, speaks across impossible distances by thought alone, and enters profound trances where his spirit wanders the galaxy while his body remains utterly still. When battle becomes unavoidable, his power is terrifying. Minds unravel beneath his gaze, torrents of eldritch energy consume his foes, and mighty war engines are cast aside through nothing more than an exertion of will. Yet to Eldrad, these are the crudest expressions of his gift, employed only when every subtler path has failed. His true strength lies within manipulation. With unmatched precision, he alters the course of destiny through the smallest of choices, sacrificing one life to preserve millions, nudging events until history itself bends toward the future he has foreseen. Time and again, his visions have spared the Asuryani from extinction. He even sought to prevent the Horus Heresy, warning the newborn Imperium through Fulgrim. Yet prophecy alone cannot save those who willingly embrace ruin, and his warning was forever lost.
Brutal. Yeah. Definitely likes his force lightning, this guy. Every picture of him has him just cast and lighten people.
Right. It's like, while he, like in lore, he might not like to use his powers for battle, at least, unless absolutely necessary. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. It is necessary. It was
It's
necessary 1,000 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Do we know, do we know of any other Eldar that are still alive that were alive during the fall?
You could say Vect might be one of the few like confirmed ones.
Okay.
And then maybe like the Phoenix Lords don't really count in my mind because I think they do die. They resurrect. People put on their armor and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think they fully count even.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I think he's pretty much one of the few that are actually named. Him and Vect are like the few.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So tied in with his abilities and his psychic uses is the use of Eldar rune magic. To an outsider, the psychic runes of the Eldar appear as little more than polished stones of living wraithbone, each etched with an ancient symbol older than many civilizations. Yet every rune is a fragment of disciplined thought, a key that unlocks a single aspect of the warp, while shielding its bearer from the ravenous hunger that waits beyond the veil. Without them, even the greatest seers would risk drawing the gaze of chaos with every spell they cast. Each rune embodies a distinct concept, emotion, or state of mind, allowing the seer to shape psychic power with extraordinary precision rather than raw force. As the Farseer grows in wisdom, they master even more runes, combining them into intricate patterns and that weave prophecy, unleash devastating psychic powers, or subtly reshape the course of fate itself. During divination, they cast these runes across the ground, reading not only the symbols revealed, but also the positions, relationships, and countless hidden meanings. In battle, the runes often circle their master in graceful orbit, acting as conduits, wards, and safeguards against the perils of the warp. It is said that the spirits of ancient seers guide these runes through the infinity circuit, lending their wisdom to those who still walk the path of the seer. For most Farseers, mastering even a few dozen runes is the labor of centuries. Eldrad Ulthran stands alone. Across more than 10 millennia, he has mastered over 4,000 rune spells, a feat unmatched by any living Aeldari. Yeah, this is such a cool concept. You have these like little wraithbone trinkets that like you kind of are channeling the power through. And then like if like you do psychically overload, your real trinket just explodes and it's like a little circuit breaker essentially. And then your power's cut off.
Interesting. I'm going to be very upset if it comes out that like all the rune stuff on Fenris was like a byproduct of Eldar rune magic.
Yeah. That might be tough, like because it's not just the runes that are important. I think it's very important that it's on Wraithbone because Wraithbone is like that solidified warp energy. So
Yeah,
you do the combination, and then it really kind of stacks into something meaningful.
Okay, are we going by the old lore that's what Wraithbone is, or are we going to follow the stupid statement that GW made that it's only a mind material?
Oh God, I forgot about that. GW, what have you done?
I was like, I'm not going to bring it up. We're just going to go with because, it's.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I know.
I hate it. No, I will not be going with that lore.
It's mine from the warp. No, it's stupid.
Yeah,
I love it. Like when that happened. I love like when like that lore dropped. I was like, okay, cool. I have now been in the hobby long enough to be upset at new lore and think that's
I did it. I'm here.
I made it, guys.
We're
so here.
Generic
I'm not even
is also saying Urian, who is a character we're going to do. Harlequin has also been around since kind of the early times. So that's 3 Eldar main characters.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah, like I'm not even an Eldar fan, and I was upset by that. So,
oh yeah, I like.
Sorry, I said Harlequin. I meant homunculus. But
Urian's a homunculus. Okay.
Yeah.
A homunculus. That honestly, I find that's interesting. A homunculus that's been around since the fall of the Eldar. That's neat. Yeah.
And they look like it too. Like if you see a lot of their artwork, they look like it.
Oh, shriveled.
That's rough, buddy.
Pony.
That's rough, buddy. Okay. All right. So we joked earlier about how Eldrad was the overachieving high school valedictorian. So let's find out about that. Organization memberships. Though often viewed as a solitary prophet, Eldrad has spent millennia forging fragile alliances against the growing darkness. He has tirelessly sought to unite the scattered craft worlds, broker cooperation between rival Eldari factions, and when necessity demanded, work alongside humanity and even other species in the war against chaos. He served upon the Black Council, offering guidance to the guardian scribes of the Black Library, convened the Council of Coalition in a failed attempt to reunite the divided Eldari, and secretly established the Coven of Isha, alongside trusted members of the Inquisition's Ordo Xenos during the 13th Black Crusade. He also gathered the Ghostwind, a coalition of Asuryani warriors assembled to oppose Abaddon's advance. Though many of these alliances ended in betrayal, division, or disappointment, Eldrad never abandoned the belief that only through unity could the galaxy hope to survive the coming darkness. Like, this is also giving the Elrond vibes too. Like he's like at the center of all of this, trying to bring everyone together.
Yeah, gather the councils. Yeah,
good because he's been around long enough to like see the bigger picture. Yeah, Elrond, like that's
cool.
Now we need to do a spin-off like Lord of the Rings lore podcast because I'm sure there's not enough of those already. Anyway,
that's another one.
Yeah. So the next one he's on is the Seer Council of Ulthwé. Within the Craftworld Ulthwé, the Seer Council stands as the true guiding force behind the fate of its people. Beneath the shadow of the Eye of Terror, these ancient visionaries carry a burden unlike any other, constantly searching the endless skein of possibilities for pathways that will allow Ulthwé to endure. Composed of the greatest Farseers, Spirit Seers, Bone Singers, Way Seers, and Warlocks of the Craft World, the Council interprets the whispers of the future and determines the course of Ulthwé's actions. Led for countless ages by Eldrad Ulthran, the Seer Council has guided Ulthwé through wars that should have ended its existence. Their prophecies have shaped alliances, redirected enemies, and sent strike forces into battle centuries before their true purpose is understood. When war comes, they open the hidden pathways of the webway at the precise moment, the perfect time to strike that fate demands, allowing Ulthwé's warriors to appear where they are needed most. Yet every vision carries a cost, but the Council does not choose between victory and defeat, but between countless futures where survival always requires sacrifice.
Yeah.
So I guess it's nice that at least like the burden is not just on Eldrad to make these decisions. He's not making them in a vacuum by himself. He does, in theory, have to get it through the Council, and all of them do.
Yeah, pretty cool council. Spirit Seers, Bone Singers, Way Seers. Way Seers were like they were almost like navigators, weren't they? They were like they allowed them to do psychic jumps or something like that. Maybe we need to look that up real quick. Way Seers.
I would imagine Wayseers would be the ones that are like the navigators. Like I'm trying to remember back if they like if you guys talked about them in previous Eldar episodes.
It's kind of what I remember. I almost got it pulled up. Here we go. Okay, a Wayseer is a title held by Eldar seers that are responsible for the activation of the webway. So yeah, it's not psychic; it's webway travel. So we were basically right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So they're webway navigators. Yeah. Because I guess do the Eldar ever actually travel through the warp, or they just exclusively use the webway, or will they use the warp if there's no webway gate around? I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't think they have that. Like they only have their like solar sails. I don't think they have like FTL type travel. I think they only have system travel.
Okay. We'll see if somebody corrects us in the chat, but
yeah. I'm sure generic Lord is just typing away furiously right now.
Yeah, I hope honestly.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Yep. We had our resident elf fanboy here the entire time.
Yeah. The next organization he's part of is the Black Council, and that stands as the gathering of ancient Farseers who advise the Guardian Scribes, the custodians of the Black Library's forbidden knowledge and protectors of the Eldari's greatest secrets. Eldrad Ulthran of Ulthwé, though often absent, remains among its foremost influential voices, alongside Eldar Wise of Luganat. Man, these names are wild. Fei. I'm not even going to bother reading them. They're just made up names of Eldar, so fuck them all. You can go Google it yourself. Who puts two F's side by side in the name at the beginning like that? That's silly. Though this council, Eldrad helped shape the fate of his people and guard knowledge capable of changing the galaxy. Only a handful of trusted humans devoted to destroying chaos have ever entered the Black Library, accompanied by Harlequins and granted rare permission as the Inquisitors of the Ordo Malleus and Bronislaw Chesvak were, while the Illuminati alone received the privilege to enter and leave its halls when required. Okay, yeah, so that's another wild thing. Like this guy has access to the Black Library. Pretty crazy. Lots
Very
of books.
Interesting.
Yes,
Oh yeah, and I know Armin from the Thousand Sons has been trying to get into the Black Library too for a very long time.
a very long time. Yeah.
Cool.
To answer the warp travel question, thank you, Edgelord. They can use direct warp travel, but you can imagine it is done with great care.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. So I'm just like, do they have Geller fields and stuff? Like, what protects them? Like, how are they doing? I'm trying to remember. I feel like it's been so long since we talked about their jumping technology.
I mean, yeah, like it would. I mean, it was before. Like you took that long break in Warhammer that you guys talked about.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's been probably 4 years, 5 years or more since.
Yeah.
Old Warhammer.
Yeah, interesting. Because the Geller field seems like necessary. Same with navigators, but we'll see. He's typing over there. I can feel it in my heart. He's telling me an answer. He might tell me off too.
Well, and I mean, like the kin travel in the warp. I don't know. They don't have navigators, but I'm sure they have, they've got to have some kind of Galar field. Probably like rune technology. The Tau can do warp jumps. They fucking for sure don't have navigators. So it stands to reason there are other technologies that exist besides the Imperium's ones.
That's true.
Oh, for
That's
sure.
true.
Oh, for sure. I'm loving this chat going on here. After playing a little too much God of War, only good elf is a dead one. Back for supremacy.
Right.
Gotta agree with Loop on this one, but Necron supremacy. Okay. Back to Eldrad's overachievements here. The Council of Coalition. It was summoned by Eldrad in a desperate vision to reunite the fractured Eldari race. Yet the gathering descended into a... I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. I'm going to assume this is an Eldar word for a rare clash of Phoenix Lords where Azerman, Jane Zar, and Baharoth battled Malgan Ra and Karandras. I am sorry, Edgelord, if I am mispronouncing these names. Over opposing beliefs. Only Fugin's arrival halted the violence before tragedy could unfold. The failed council revealed Eldrad's burden.
Sucks to suck, I guess.
Sorry, that is a fucking wild name, though. Like, it's either like Yasrahan Mori, or it's
nice.
I did find my years of Hebrew school are coming in to get some of the confidence out.
Yeah.
That's Reichen Blachmori. Like that's my German coming out. So
yes, Reichen Blachmori.
Wunschafwohl.
I found something about Eldar piloted jumps aboard Eldar Corsair ships. The function of a navigator is served by the Void Dreamer, a seer capable of divining the near future, thereby finding safe passages within the warp and through their own power to be able to ward off demons from the vessel, akin to a Geller field.
Oh, nice.
So those were Eldar Corsairs, so that's a Void Dreamer. Maybe Farseers can just kind of do this when they're doing jump, like because they can see the future.
Yeah.
So,
although they're Farseers, they have to see they see too far into the future.
Yeah. And when I click on Void Dreamers are powerful way seekers who mastery of Ethermancy. I'll post that word in the chat. That's a fun one. We'll click on that link next. Allow them to gaze into the myriad events of the near futures, the Kithla Kakarada, to navigate the warp itself, serving as the helmsman for navigators. Okay.
Yeah, I would say like Aethermancy for that word.
And that predicts where enemies might arrive before they do.
Okay. So yeah, it's like short-term Farseers,
Yeah, like since they're not like the Corsairs aren't Craftworlders, they don't have the same like path to get there and the same names and all that.
Yeah.
Similar concept. Cool.
All right, so now the next organization we have, the Coven of Isha, is a rare and secretive alliance that perfectly represents Eldrad Ulthran's willingness to cross boundaries that others consider impossible. It is a hidden pact of mutual assistance between Craftworld Ulthwé and select members of the Imperium's Ordo Xenos operating from Remugan Station. Unlike most encounters between the Eldari and humanity, the Coven exists upon a fragile foundation of necessity, suspicion, and shared enemies. Through the Coven, Eldrad provides warnings and knowledge of threats before they came to pass, allowing the Inquisition to witness the unsettling accuracy of Ulthwé's prophecies. Reports recorded by the Librarium of Remugan Station connected Eldrad's warnings to devastating events such as the Sanapan Scouring, the Mortis Annihilation, the Third Coming of Orion, and the Second War for Armageddon. To those humans involved, these visions were both a gift and a source of fear, for they revealed a mind that saw the galaxy's tragedies long before they unfolded. Yet the Coven was never a friendship. Eldrad did not seek human approval, nor did the Inquisition fully trust their mysterious allies. Every warning, every alliance, and every exchange of knowledge carried hidden motives and careful calculations. Eldrad understood that even his enemies could become pieces upon the great game of survival. The alliance eventually allowed cooperation between Ulthwé and Imperial forces, including the intervention of the Death Watch at Eldrad's request. However, both sides continued to pursue their own agendas, each using the other while believing they remained in control. The Coven of Isha stands as a testament to Eldrad's greatest burden. He must seek allies among those who distrust him, because the survival of the Aeldari demands sacrifices no other leader would dare make. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense that the Ordo Xenos would be an uneasy alliance with him. The Inquisition, for especially like the less puritanical thinkers of it, are in the camps of, the tools of my enemy, or in this case, kind of the enemy of my enemy, by any means necessary kind of things. But there definitely would be some Inquisitors in the Ordo Xenos that would be like, don't care how useful it is. It's a Xenos. We're going to kill it or cut it up and look at it.
For sure. And like, I definitely, all the joking aside, I kind of get the crap that Eldrad kind of has to put up with.
Yeah.
Like trying to put all this together, knowing it's just going to fall apart. But he's like, I'm doing my best.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it seems like Eldrad is, Eldrad is like holding together the Eldari as a species with fucking like bubblegum and hope.
And this fucking sword he has on his back.
That's right. And, a big sword does always help. I will. It's true.
Yes. Big sword.
But it's looking bleak nonetheless, for sure.
Yeah. I do like the way it keeps getting phrased as his visions are always for like survival, but never like existence of the Eldar or something like that. I forget what the words, but yeah, just like it's always just okay. These prophecies let us live one more day, but they're never gonna like let us be at peace.
Yeah, they're not expanding. Yeah, big sword, tiny peepee. Maybe.
Oh no!
I think all Eldar already have
my
tiny.
wall.
Oh no!
Oh no!
My secret.
Oh no!
Why'd you have to out him like that, Loop? Dirty.
Damn it! Thought we were friends.
Up next, Ghostwind, and this is a sacred Suriani war host assembled to answer the visions of Eldrad and defend the hidden paths of the webway from the horrors unleashed in the 13th Black Crusade. Born from the darkest prophecies witnessed by Eldrad and the Farseers of many craft worlds, the Ghostwind was created as a desperate attempt to prevent catastrophes yet unborn. Envoys gathered across the stars, setting aside ancient rivalries from the forces dedicated to Eldrad's vision. Each craft world contributed only its finest warriors, creating a host of unparalleled skill, always guided by a Farseer and guarded by warlocks drawn from many worlds. Unlike the unified armies of the younger races, the Ghostwind carries the identities of its origins, retaining each craft world's colors and traditions. Only a single black shoulder plate marks their shared oath to Eldrad. They are the symbol of unity forged from desperation, and the Asuryani's answer to the galaxy's descending into darkness. The Ghostwind is pretty cool, actually, where you can basically then, if you're doing a tabletop army, take all the good rules you want. You take these guys' jet bikes, you take some Wraith Knights from over here, you take all the cool shit and you smash it together and then just paint one shoulder pad black. Hell yeah.
Okay, so like almost like the Death Watch for the Eldari a little bit.
Yeah, very similar for sure, where you just kind of got this like mass group. Very cool.
I do like that idea though. Like if you just can't decide on a particular craft world, okay, do a Ghostwind army.
Yep. Play
honestly, that's pretty dope. Yeah.
Now you're playing like Super Skittles army because like they're already a colorful army.
Right. Honestly, I think like less a Ghostwind army, but like a Ghostwind kill team would be really cool to do.
Yeah, maybe that would be the funner option. Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Because I feel like they would probably operate more in like a smaller kill team thing. But I've also just been looking at kill team a lot recently.
Yeah. What happens if we this word Ghostwind and put it into Google Images.
I
See if it
mean,
comes up with anything cool.
Kill Team's definitely got some cool stuff going about it.
Yeah, I've been liking what I've been reading for the cooperative Kill Team games.
Nothing specific, but yeah, very cool. Ghostwind.
Yeah, cool stuff.
Yeah, and then we'll dive back into the final membership he had was the Ynnari faction.
Poor Ynnari. Okay. The Ynnari, known as the Reborn or the Pathless, represent one of the greatest upheavals within Eldari society since the fall. United by their belief in Ynnead, the god of the dead, they seek to awaken their slumbering deity and free their people from the eternal hunger of Slaanesh. Drawing warriors, mystics, and followers from across the fractured remnants of Eldari civilization, the Ynnari offer a path of salvation that defies the ancient traditions of both the Asuryani and Drukhari. Among those who first recognized the potential of this movement was Eldrad Ulthran. For millennia, the ancient Farseer had searched the countless paths of fate for a way to prevent the extinction of his species. When Ynnead's awakening became a possibility, Eldrad saw within the Ynnari a chance to achieve what prophecy had long denied him, a future where the Eldari might escape the doom awaiting them. Yet even this alliance could not last forever. Though Eldrad helped guide the Ynnari during their earliest days, his vision for their future eventually began to differ from that of their leader Yvrain. The ancient Farseer believed their desperation risked sacrificing too many Eldari lives and feared their path would not avoid the final catastrophe of the Ranadanja. Okay, that word I do know. Thus, Eldrad once again walked alone, separate from those who carried the hope he had helped create, forever searching for the one future where his people might survive.
Just imagine like Eldrad listening to fucking Green Day. Like he walks the lonely road, the only one that he don't know where to go.
It's too real. I can't take it. Yikes. Feels. Cool. His war.
We already talked a lot about like our thoughts about him and the Ynari Need.
Yeah.
So what kind of cool shit does he got? So across 10,000 years of war and prophecy, these relics have become more than mere weapons and armor. They're symbols of Eldrad's eternal duty, carrying the memories of ancient seers and the hopes of a dying race. Each artifact reflects his endless struggle against fate, granting him strength while reminding him of the terrible burden he bears as the guardian of Ulthwé and the last paths forward.
So he's wearing the armor of the last runes. And it is Eldrad's ancient breastplate bears forgotten scripts of protection and prophecy, declaring his oath to endure beyond the final fading of the light. He's protected by runes of warding, ancient protective symbols woven into Eldrad's armor and spirit, creating barriers against psychic attacks, corruption, horrors of the warp. He's also got runes of witnessing, sacred prophetic marks that sharpen Eldrad's vision, allowing him to perceive hidden truths and navigate countless possible futures being unfolded. And he's wearing the Ghost Helm, and that's a shield, and it shields Eldrad's soul from the predations of the warp, concealing his presence from demons while allowing the psychic visions to pierce the veil. The Ghost Helm, that's from Warlocks, right? Like that's their kind of war gear.
I think so.
Yeah. Cool. Sounds like a very like powerful tool, but it's probably is still pretty rare, but it's also pretty common. It's not a unique relic or nothing like that.
Okay. The Staff of Ulthamar, not Ultramar. This revered force staff links directly to Ulthwé's Infinity Circuit, allowing Eldrad to draw upon the Craftworld's endless reservoir of wisdom, power, and ancestral guidance. There you go.
Yeah. I wonder like if there's like I imagine not, but like if there's like a range of it, if he has to be within 50 light years of Ulthwé to use it or something. But so besides the staff, he's got a Witchblade. This sacred force weapon channels the psychic might of its wielder through a crystalline matrix of ancient runes. In Eldrad's hands, it becomes an extension of his will, capable of destroying warriors, beasts, demons, and machines alike.
and his final piece is the Shuriken Pistol. The Murkick in Aeldari is the compact Aeldari weapon, launching razor-edged discs that carve through flesh with terrifying precision and reflecting elegant lethality. Yeah, nice. Little ninja stars.
Monomolecular.
Monomolecular ninja stars type.
Monomolecular.
Sure, he could shoot force lightning at you, but no. Monomolecular.
So fucking it's
Well,
ninja.
force lightning is so cool.
It's true, it is.
And he did write one famous piece of work here. I don't know if you'd call it a piece of war gear, but definitely is insightful. It's called the Treachery of Vision.
The Treachery of Vision is among the most mysterious works attributed to Farseer Eldrad Ulthran, a chronicle woven from prophecy, forgotten memory, and truths too dangerous for lesser minds. Within its pages, Eldrad reflects upon the birth of existence, the rise of the Old Ones, and the first great war that scarred both reality and the Immaterium forever. He recounts the awakening of the Satan, being beings born from dying stars and clothed in living form, whose war against the Old Ones reshaped creation itself. To oppose them, the Old Ones reached into the untamed warp, drawing upon its limitless power. Eldrad believed this ancient struggle awakened the first demons, forever binding the Materium and Immaterium into an endless cycle of conflict. His writings speak of beings older than even the Azerman, ancient Eldari who witnessed those forgotten ages and feasted upon the warp's raw power. He also describes the Black Library, where the Harlequins preserve knowledge carrying the final echoes of the Old Ones themselves, a sanctuary Eldrad claimed to have walked with awe and reverence. Yet his darkest prophecy concerns the return of the Necrons. Eldrad foresaw that the contemplation of their great work would silence the warp, extinguish the Eye of Isha, and sever the Eldari forever from the source of their souls. He further warned that it was the boundless desires of his own people that first invited demons into reality, making the Eldari both victims and architects of their eternal tragedy.
I want to do a bonus episode. Maybe I'll do it next time I'm doing one, where basically we'll take all these books in universe in 40K. Like Gilliman's written a whole bunch. Now we have this one to add to the list, and then get Chatbot to write up like, what do you think is like chapter 1 of this book, and see what it comes up with. I'm sure we'll get some like wild esoteric shit.
Jeez.
Do you think there's a porn section in the Black Library that's now sealed away because of Slaanesh? My answer in order is yes and no. It's the Black Library. Yeah, it's got to be in there somewhere.
Gotta be.
But
hey, man, the Karma Sutra, you got to know all those positions. That's ancient wisdom,
right? I mean, I feel like legitimately there has got to be something like that on a path, because it's about experiencing different things but not going too far. So yeah, sure, absolutely. The path of cranking it. I don't know. All right.
Oh boy.
So now we come to the death of Eldrad Ulthran, the old canon. In the original telling of the 13th Black Crusade, Eldrad Ulthran was believed to have met a fate darker than death itself. During the desperate defense of Cadia, the ancient Farseer entered the heart of a corrupted Blackstone fortress, known to the Eldari as the Talisman of Val, seeking to prevent its destruction of a world whose survival was vital to the balance of the galaxy. Cadia was more than a fortress world. Beneath its surface rested the ancient Necron pylons, silent relics that restrained the fury of the Eye of Terror and prevented the warp from consuming the surrounding regions. Eldrad understood that the fall of Cadia would unleash consequences far beyond humanity, threatening countless Eldari craft worlds that existed upon the edge of the Great Wound in reality. As his consciousness merged with the corrupted spirit of the ancient machine, Eldrad discovered a terrible truth. The corruption was not the work of a lesser demon or wandering warp entity, but the influence of Slaanesh, its enemy born from the sins of his own people. The battle became a struggle between the will of the greatest Farseer and the hunger of a chaos god. Eldrad attempted to withdraw, but even his immense psychic power could not overcome the grasp of Slaanesh. His soul was pulled into the dark depths of the fortress, seemingly lost forever within the realm of chaos. Yet prophecy rarely ends where mortals believe it should. Across Ulthwé, his waystones dimmed and failed, but not all hope vanished. If even one spirit stone still carried his essence, then Eldrad's soul remained somewhere beyond the veil, waiting for liberation.
Yeah. Cool. So that was old lore, so none of that actually matters. But it's worth saying. That was a cool way to go out.
And I think it's one of those things where, like, it's less that it, I would say, I don't know if I'd say it doesn't matter, but it's just like, okay, this is a cool story, but now we know it doesn't end there. And what sort of shenanigans did they do to get him out of there? But I think it's, it can still have good lore implications. Me not having read it, just the idea of a Eldar seer able to interact with the spirit of a machine. And now again, like, I haven't read the book where this happens. I don't know if it's like a corrupted machine spirit kind of a thing, or how that works, but just the idea of the psychic interacting with the mechanical, I think, is interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, like, it's still a cool story, and if it happened to him, or we could just insert this happened to a generic Farseer, like, you get some cool implications, like his spirit's still out in the warp as long as his soul stone's flickering. Like, that's, yeah, so cool. Yeah, very cool. But yeah, they decided to not do this to him, and they retconned him. This fate was later rewritten by the events of the Gathering Storm, where Eldrad returned as the central figure in the awakening of Ynnead and the birth of Ynnari. Yet the legend of his sacrifice endured, a reminder that Eldrad's existence has always been defined by impossible choices, where even defeat may serve a greater future. Yeah. I meant to lose, bro. Trust me, in 50 years, I'll be the one laughing.
I mean, he's basically the Eldar Xanatos from Gargoyles.
Oh, that's a flashback.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. You're damn right.
Oh, god damn, yes. Now we're talking. Okay, well, that's a different type of lore that we need to go on. So that's 2 podcasts we gotta do. We gotta go do Gargoyle lore and Lord of the Rings.
Love it.
Hell yeah. I'm here for it.
Cool. Well, that was Farseer Eldrad Ulthran. Yeah, pretty cool character. I love how, like, interactive he is. Like, he's a character that can very easily, you can tell stories with. You can put them anywhere in the galaxy and just make them interact, and you can have your own purpose. They can be secretive. They can be so grand and like, well, that's never going to work. And then, of course, it doesn't work. Like, you can really go wild with some stories with him.
Oh, yeah.
It comes from a cool place, Ulthwé. Pretty cool, just circling. Fun mentality to have.
Terror.
Yeah. What do you guys like about him? Anything jump out?
He's kind of.
So go ahead.
Go ahead, Fuzz. Go ahead.
I probably the most interesting part to me is that kind of like burden of knowledge, and that he's been around for so long. He's seen so much. He understands things in a way that few beings in the galaxy can. And on top of that, he just has so much of the past and so much of the future, and has to combine those in a way to keep his people from extinction to the best of his abilities. Like we were saying, I wonder if he like lays awake thinking at night, like, okay, this helped all of these Eldari in the short term stay alive, but was it still the right call?
Yeah, and it's crazy to think about, like, oh no, it happened to me. Brain fart. Never mind. Carry on without me. I'll come back to me.
You're good.
You would think he just doesn't sleep anymore with the weight of all these decisions that he has to make.
Yeah. Well, I guess if he's turning into crystal, maybe he doesn't have to sleep anymore. I don't know. But
yeah, I'm gonna say something controversial. I don't hate Eldar as much as I say I do. Eldrad is pretty cool. He's pretty cool, and just like that, just this impossible task before him of just trying to choose the best future possible out of thousands upon thousands of choices to save the Eldar. Like, bro just needs a hug.
Yeah.
right.
And then you take it to this weird step, like, okay, so not only, we've mentioned he has to choose all these different fate lines, keep track of all that going forward, and just imagine what he thinks the past looks like. Like, how do you keep track of what past and timeline you actually went into? How do you know how much you actually, like, every time you do something, you have to go, like, read the history books and see if anything changes? Like, how do you keep track of all of that? Just kind of hope for the best, a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I wonder if he ever, because he sees so many future timelines, kind of like gets mixed up, like makes like an offhanded comment, but it doesn't matter because it was about a timeline that never happened. But
that happened 4 timelines ago. Like, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like he looks at like some Eldars, like, yeah, how's the family? But they don't have a family. But he saw a future where they did. I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah, just pulls a Mortarian and is like, oh, I'm sorry, that hasn't happened yet.
I think that there are some interesting parts of him. I honestly don't think he's that cool, but that's because to me he seems like he's kept around as a plot device for GW to do. He's written as like a plot facilitator rather than a truly interesting character.
Yeah, like if you don't know how to move the plot forward, you can always just toss him in there and say he's up to something, and now the plot has moved forward to wherever you need it to be. And yeah, that is kind of that lazy writing.
Yeah, and I there can be places for it, and I'm not saying that the stories that he's involved in and the things he does can't be individually interesting or cool. It just like that's just the way it seems like his place in the narrative is right now is more as a plot device than like he's doing too much. I feel like if he was reined in, his focus, might be a more interesting character. But when like a character is just so spread out in what they're doing and they don't have like a truly singular vision, I think they lose.
Yeah, like save the Eldar is his vision, but that's like it's so generic.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying. I do definitely like that the Ghost Wing exists.
That is very cool.
Yeah, with the Ynnari kind of like in this weird spot, like anytime you can do these like mass organizations are pretty cool in my mind.
I could even see like if like with Eldrad turning into crystal, like say Eldrad like fully is crystalline, maybe he's alive, his soul manages to get back into a crystal body or whatever, I don't know, but he can communicate but can't really like move around anymore. If the Ghost Wing switched over to maybe like serving Ynnead, because again there actually is a focus there. They have a tangible goal of fight for the Ynnari to
killing all the Eldar to resurrect your needs to save all the Eldar.
Yeah, a noble goal: kill all the Eldar. No,
I mean, I like their end game in the transition to AOS more than I like how this is going to play out with the Ynnari stuff. So,
interesting. Yeah, very cool. Well, I think that's all we have for this episode. Next episode, I think we are doing that homunculus Uriel guy, Urian or whatever. We're going to do a bunch of different characters and stuff. Going to be some fun learning about some different Xenos. But yeah, come join us on the next episode. Come listen to Lorehammer Listen to Lore podcast. If you have lore you want to submit it to lorehammerpodcast@gmail.com. And you can go buy t-shirts at Redbubble if you want. They're there. They're waiting for you.
Mm-hmm. And come on over to the Grimlore Tavern, where we get to talk about Warhammer Fantasy, and we've been delving some more into Age of Sigmar. And yes, there is I gotta find the thing I just put. In regards to too much chaos, I have a Chaos Undivided XP of Sukuna, a Huggable Nurgle Demon, a Slaneshi Leopard, a Zinchi and Skeksis, and a Horny Croxagore devoted to Corn in the tavern right now. And then Fuzz, and then Mark has also been there too, as the fellow dwarf lovers. So it's a good time all around. Come join us.
It is a good time for sure. And
You
for
are
myself,
music, Mark.
and for myself,
Horny Croxagore.
I do some blacksmithing. I run a shop called Stout Hammer Forge. I use the term shop loosely, but if you're interested in seeing the things that I make, I will post pictures and sometimes videos on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Just search Stout Hammer Forge. You can find me, follow me if you want to make any requests of things you think it'd be cool if I made. Occasionally, I will open up slots for commissions. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Just come join me on my journey of being the world's okayest blacksmith.
Perfect.
Lies. He's excellent.
I appreciate it.
All right, cool. Well, guys, we'll see you all in the next episode. Have a good one.
Night.